events. I hope y'all had a great week and a great Sunday.
Yeah. And I'm Michelle. I'm the younger sister. I'm Michelle. And today we don't have a sponsor, but Tracy and I discussed that we're going to discuss a volunteer opportunity we had today, which was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
The young lady, Stephanie Gibson of Doorcast Outreach Ministries of Hope, was able to have food and hygiene supplies and clothing for the people, the location we went to. And it was just such a enriching atmosphere, and we just really enjoyed ourselves. So we wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to allow us to volunteer, to give back to our communities. So, but anyway, so we have a special guest today. Go ahead, Tracy. Tell us about our guest.
Do. We have Astar, and she is absolutely an awesome person. She is a health and wellness coach, and we all trying to get fit. We all trying to do something great with our lives. She is a great supporter, and she's just a overall wonderful person, and we just love her to pieces. Yeah. I got the pleasure of meeting her, and I just was like, she's amazing. I really love this girl. You know what I mean? So, Astar, how are you today?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. Thank you for asking me to be a guest speaker on your show. I've been looking forward to this all day today. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm just ready. Let's do this.
Yeah. So what do you do? How did you get started in the health and wellness? Were you overweight at one point or another, or what's the situation behind that?
Right. So thank you. So for me, it's been a long journey. So my health and wellness actually started when I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer when I was 28. And so because of that, they decided that because of my age, they can do aggressive treatment, which was 6 rounds of chemotherapy, 36 rounds of radiation, and then also hormonal therapy. And because of that, my body was just rushed with so much, treatment, quote unquote, poison, that it caused my body to have so much inflammation, just become bloated, and just have so much toxins in my body. So by the time I was done with treatment, I was about 30 to 40 pounds over my starting weight when I went in. And so what I looked for was, what do I do to lose the weight? And so what I did is I had to find something, a diet that would work for me, but not necessarily work for me just to lose the weight, but also to maintain that lifestyle. So at that time, I used South Beach diet. And so there was like 3 different phases. And so with me doing the South Beach diet, within, I would say, at least 2.5 months, I lost all that weight. So I lost the 30 pounds. And so, I was somewhat active, in college. I played soccer in high school. And then over time, I did a little something. Now, I wasn't always as active as I am now. So I've kind of always been fortunate to, always kind of be blessed with a nice shape. But when I moved when I moved to I want to say nice shape, but I would say too that I was somewhat skinny in certain people's eyes. And so, I guess that I'm not sure if at the time I saw it as against me, because, I struggled with, dating, because some guys just saw me as too skinny, not, full. Yeah. So, so I was just that skinny girl. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just date whoever likes skinny girls, and that would be that. Over time, I would say my journey really started with health and fitness when I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. So I moved during the perfect time, which was 2008. And that's when, I call it my trifecta, where, I lost my mom, I lost my job, I lost my mom, I lost my fiance. And so I was dealing with a lot in just a matter in 1 month. And so at that time, I had a friend to help me make a decision where, to move to Atlanta, I either move now or I'll never move. And so I knew for me that she didn't necessarily mean physically, but she meant mentally, meaning moving forward with my life. So when I got to Atlanta, I had a job lined up, but no more. because of the way that the economic state of the country at that time. So I was going through such a depressed state. I had lost so much weight. I was on that depression diet where I just didn't eat because I was dealing with, just so much loss at the same time. And so my journey began with me trying to run. And so anyone who's followed me, have known that I ran a marathon. I ran a couple of half marathons, but I started with just running for my mental health. And that's all I did. I would walk or run or something of that nature for my mental sanity. But it was such a depressing time in my life. I remember I owed everyone in there, I'm sure mothers and godmothers and whoever it was, I owed. And I felt so much, I felt so much pressure. I had a car that I brought down here where, the only one window was working to go down. And, it was just so much I was dealing with at that time. And the only thing that I saw to help me was, well, what happens if I just go outside and get some air? And that's all it started with, was going outside to get some air. Started walking. And I remember during my first year and a half, my cousin, Wesley, I definitely like to give a shout out to him, Wesley Lindsay. He was with me every single day for a year and a half and talked to me. He was my saving grace whenever I was walking, I was talking, and, it was something that I needed, and someone that I needed was to get past where I was. And little did I know that just by starting to walk, it would lead me to, running marathons or having just this passion or for running, or start this, this journey to that my platform being health and wellness, which leads to a confident person, that which I was striving for. And I remember, I'll never forget, at one point, I used to live in Alpharetta, and I remember the first time I ran, I could only last 30 seconds. I'll never forget. I was like, I'm not doing this again. But when I reflect, but I kept going. And that's pretty much my tagline today, is just keep going. And so the next day I tried again. I said, all right, let's try for 35 seconds. And some days would be better than others, but eventually I got to the point where I was able to run 1 minute and then 1 mile. And then I was able to enter a race. But over time, as I saw, but also too, I became, during that time of, I like to call it a wilderness. During that time of wilderness where I wasn't working, had bills up the yin yang, I was in a roommate situation. I was also drinking like an elephant, an animal. I was drinking so much to an oblivion, just so I can go to sleep, just so I can just check out of myself, check out of my reality of this can't be real. And so that was unhealthy for me. So once I started taking steps towards feeling good about myself, and for me, the steps that I needed to take to feel good about myself initially was my health. Although I was going through this, I had to find a way to feel good about myself. And so I started, again, with the walking, then the running, then, then I led to, going to the gym one day. I said, I remember I went to the gym. This was in 2009. And I was like, well, I have no idea what I'm doing in the gym, but I'll figure it out. So I remember I remember I bought fitness magazines. That's how I got started, like with essentially into my bodybuilding career. Whereas I started essentially with fitness magazines. I remember I would buy these fitness magazines and I'd pick out like a routine and I would carry it with me, trying to find that particular machine to do the activity.
Oh, wow.
So it was a confidence builder. And so for me, it was a determination to live. And so it wasn't necessarily a determination to live, quote unquote, physically, but it was a determination to live physically. And so and mentally. And so for me to live mentally, I had to do something physically. I had to move my body in order to move my mind and spirit. And so with that, I had to, let me get up and try this. okay, this works. And then I noticed I started to feel good. I started to feel confident, and things started happening for me. But I had to figure out a way to take care of myself. And so over time, as I started going to the gym, I started to notice, oh wow, I got abs. Oh, I never thought I could get abs. And then I started noticing, my arms and, my shoulders. I started to like what I saw in the mirror, but,
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily the physical aspect, but for the first time in probably like a year or two, I was able to look myself in the mirror because I was finally smiling. I was finally happy. Life started to make a turn for the better for me. So I finally
Yes.
started to see me getting out of that wilderness. Because,
Mm.
as they say, there was wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. But, thank goodness I start to have an appreciation for what I do have. And so, have an appreciation for the body that I do have an appreciation for, okay, I've been blessed with being able to get up, to move, to go to the gym and do something to encourage myself. So that way I didn't have to stay in that wilderness for long. And so because my distraction became, you know, me, guess what? Everything else started to happen for me.
I
Mm.
love it.
You see what I'm saying?
Girl.
Girl, you said a
You see what I'm
word.
You see what I'm saying? And so I
Yes.
started taking care of my body. And so I started taking care of myself. And so other people started to see the joy and happiness that was coming out of me. Because before, when I first came into the gym, my head was down.
Mm.
I couldn't look up. But over time, as I became more confident, and over time, as I became more independent from the magazines, I was able to start doing things on my own. I was able to finally start to raise my head up and actually look at who's around. And then people started to notice me. I started making friends in the gym. I started to have my gym family because my family wasn't here with me.
Yeah.
And so I needed that connection. And so by the time I had the connection with my family and my gym family, that it was time for my cousin to move on his journey, because he was allowed to be with me during that year and a half, every single day straight, because it was to be known that he was supposed to be with me every single day when I was going through.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, someone noticed me in the gym and said, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a bodybuilding competition?" And I was like, "Shoot, I'm game. Sure, why not?" And so
That was
I was
easy.
like, "Sure, why not?
Yeah.
I'm game." And this is an interesting story too. And this is what led me to coaching and to training. And so I remember I went through 3 coaches. The first coach, it didn't work out. He thought, well, I don't know about your legs. Ooh, we're gonna take, I don't know if you're gonna be able to do it. My second coach, she was like, I don't know. And so I started to lose faith and confidence that this isn't going to work for me. But there was one person, and his name is Eddie Russell. He's a personal trainer at Just Fitness for You in Marietta in Georgia. And I said to him, I said, "Eddie, they're saying I can't. They're saying I can't. My legs are just too much." And I'll never forget what he said. He looked at me. He said, "No problem. We'll get it. We'll get it done. Don't worry. No, that's not a problem." And that's all I needed,
Mm.
was that one person to believe
Perfect.
in me,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I didn't believe in myself, because to me, it felt like so many people were telling me no. And then I started taking on their beliefs, like, "Oh
Yeah.
no, it's not possible." But that's all I needed, was one person. And that one person was Eddie. And because he believed in me, I was able to become consistent. And so I hired him as a personal trainer. And so whenever I didn't see him, I had to make sure my butt was in the gym. I had to be consistent. I had to be held accountable. And so, that's one of the things that people struggle with, is consistency and accountability when it comes to reaching their health and fitness goal. And so for me, I had a reason why. I had a reason why I was going to the gym. I had a reason why I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I had a reason why I was doing 2 workouts a day, because I wanted to see if this could actually happen. I wanted to see what was going on, but there was pain also in that particular journey as well. I was
Yeah.
going through a relationship that wasn't working out, and I'll never forget the one day I was doing the shoulder press, and I couldn't lift the weight. And I was crying because I was devastated, because I was in so much pain. And that's when I knew right then and there, this is where the journey begins. Because as you grow, and that's how I saw it, as a challenge for myself. If I can get through this, then I can get through anything. And so I saw that as a way of me continually to grow. And I saw that as a way of continually growing my own, myself, my health, my own spirituality, my mental toughness. And that's what it did. And so I kept on going. I never allowed anything to defeat me, because one, I had that coach, and two, there's a purpose and reason. And three, you got to see the outcome. What is going to be the outcome if I just push myself today? What will be the outcome if I just go to the gym today? What will be the outcome if I eat healthy today? What will be the outcome if I choose water than drinking today? What will be the outcome if I choose fruit than chips today? What will be the outcome if I chose a salad instead of pasta? What if?
Yeah.
And that is the question every day. And that's what got me up every day. What if?
Yes.
What if? And that is something, and that again helped me, and that again helped me with my coaching. So after I did the so I did it, and I'll never forget. I mean, I went from probably 30% body fat, probably all I know I remember is I went down to 10.5% body fat. And some of the people have seen my pictures, and I was down to 117. I mean, I was cut everywhere. But the reason why I was cut everywhere is because I kept on saying, what if?
Yeah.
What if I took a chance on myself? Because guess what? Someone else took a chance on me. So when I take a chance on myself, guess what? I'm going to get up. Guess what? I'm going to go ahead and choose this instead of that. Guess what? I'm going to believe in me. Guess what? I'm going to keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Hey, I fell. Okay, I had a bad day. That's all right. Get up, keep going,
Keep going.
keep going. Finally, I got to that stage. I couldn't believe I placed third. I said, and they called my name. They said, yeah. And they were like, yo, that's you. I was like, I was expecting this. I was like, I was just doing this just to see what if.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. And that's when the personal training career began for me, because I love the way that I love the way that the body could transform. I became obsessed with it. So I started, training people back in 2014. I got my certification. I started doing some personal training, things of that nature. I worked at a gym. I still had a full-time job. I was doing accounting work and, doing personal training on the side. But of course, as life has it, you don't come out of one thing not to go into another. Now I came to a crossroad. So I remember I had finished getting my master's degree in accounting and finance, because I needed that, because the plan was for me to be a CPA. Now that was the plan. That was the plan. That was so actually that was the plan, but understand that wasn't my plan, and that wasn't my higher powers plan. That was someone else's plan for me. You get where I'm going? So I came to a fork in the road, and I'll never forget, I asked my brother, I said, what do I do? He said, you got to go for what you're passionate about. I said, okay. And I struggled with that for so long. But I love the fact that I was also able to help people reach their goals as well. I love the fact that I was able to look at somebody's body and be like, oh, boom, this is what you need to do to get these arms, to get these abs, to get these tight legs, to get the booty lifted. Oh, I love that, you know? But it was always, if I choose this, then what will other people think? What if it doesn't work out for me? What if? Now understand, I can ask myself what if in two different directions. In a positive spin, like I did, what if I just do this and look where it got me to the bodybuilding, or I can use what if to hold me back. So it can either propel me or hold me back. And so the second time I asked myself, what if, it started to hold me back. So by now, who knows where I could be, but because I've asked myself, what if, it held me back. And it held me back to trying to please them and not me. I was trying to meet their goals for me instead of my goals for myself, or my higher powers goal. And instead of reaching what I believe is my platform today, which is helping people achieve optimum health. with, building their confidence level.
Mm-hmm.
So over time, the decision was, I remember I sat for the CPA exam a couple of times, failed, okay. And I'll never forget one of my friends, hey, look, it happens.
Yeah.
I remember I asked one of my friends, and I said, what do I do? Should I sit for it again? She said, if you don't see yourself doing this 10 years from now, I wouldn't.
Don't do it.
And so right then and there, I made the decision, I'm not going to do this anymore. And I decided to go more and more into my dream. Okay, how can I help other people feel confident about themselves using this platform of health and fitness? So over time, I just made the decision, and I told, people who were expecting me to be CPA, they said, well, are you sure? Because that could be your insurance card in your back pocket. Now, let me tell you this. I know people that went that route.
Yeah.
They also lost their job. So now what?
Yeah.
And that's something else that's something else that I teach my clients, to always ask yourself, now what? You reach the goal. I got my CPA license. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
So anyway, over time, as we get back into how I got more into, fitness. So one day I decided to just try running a race. So I remember I ran a 5K. I set up for that. Then I said, well, let me try the Peachtree Road race. I did that. And I remember training, but the biggest one at one point was running a half marathon. And so I started doing travel destination runs. And so I remember I was training for the Miami Beach half marathon. I had no idea what the course looked like. So when we say course, meaning like what the route was. And so I was just kind of training everywhere. And I remember, my legs would get chaffed. I would have blisters, toenails, all that kind of stuff. But to know that but I kept on remembering, every time I wanted to stop running, every time I was just getting so close and I said, oh, I want to stop. I look back remember when you did your bodybuilding? Remember when you did this race and that race? And so I always look back on the things that I've accomplished to keep me going. And so sometimes it's important to reflect back on what you did do right and not focus on what you didn't do right.
Yeah.
You get where I'm going? So I was able to accomplish that, doing that. I remember I flew in the night before, ran that race that morning. After I ran that race, I'll never forget. I had me a sangria, had me a burger and fry. Boom, I was on my flight at 11 o'clock. I had me a drink, burger, fries. I was on my flight. I came there, I conquered.
What you need to do.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. And I didn't have to, one thing I had to remember is don't wait on anyone.
Yeah.
Don't wait on anyone to give me approval to run this race, because remember, it is my course. Although I'm running the half marathon in Miami, it's still my course. And I have to remember that it is my course. And that's something that, I work with my clients with, is customizing your course.
Yeah.
So there's so many diets out here, but just also realize that those diets were specifically made for certain people. So just because you do this diet doesn't mean it will have the same effect on you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why you have to create something that works for you. And
so I have a question. Will you, like, if someone was to say they want your help, do you go in and totally get rid of what they're doing, or do you ease them into it?
So it's all about transitioning. So what you want to do is transform yourself from the outside to within. And that's what I do, is we look at what you do. Okay, so we look at where you're at right now. We look at what's working and what's not working. Okay, and we look at what is your overall goal. And so that's what we want to do, is we look at what is your overall goal. Okay, if this is working, let's work with that. So say, for example, you may not like going to the gym, but you love Zumba. Okay, I'm not going to tell you to go to the gym when you like Zumba. We're going to find a way to make Zumba work for you. I may tell you, or you may love dancing. I have a client that absolutely loves dancing. But she can't stand walking. That's fine. Dance your heart out. But this is what I want you to do. So what we do is we create small challenges, and we create transformational challenges. So we look at, okay, what are you doing now? How can we just stretch you just a little bit? And that's where my races came in. That's where my bodybuilding competitions came in. That's where running that marathon came in. If I just push myself just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just if I can just push myself just a minute more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I can just push myself just to drink 1 more ounce of water.
Mm-hmm.
If I can just push myself to eat that fruit. If I can just push myself, all I gotta do is just swallow the spinach and be down, swallow the spinach and take a shot of water and be done with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, why do you think people make excuses when, like a New Year's resolution, they started, but then they stop? Why do you think people do that?
Well, they're excited. It's a new year. They consider it, okay, it's a reset. You know, everyone wants to, celebrate the new year by creating this resolution, but you're creating something that you should have already had a solution to. So you keep on creating this resolution, this resolution. Okay. This should have been a solution that you should have already realized before the New Year's had came.
Yeah.
So you create this resolution, but that's what you're looking at. You're looking at, this solution. You're looking for the solution, but you get excited, but then you stop.
Yeah.
And so the reason why three of the main reasons why people stop, start, or just don't stick with it is they lack consistency.
Mm-hmm.
They lack accountability.
Mm-hmm.
They also lack motivation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
y'all. We're almost going to be up soon. I want to know how people could get in touch with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the way people can get in touch with me, they can go to my website, which is Astar, which is Y, A as in apple, A as in apple, A as in apple, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, A as in apple, R as in Robert.com. So that's So that's 3 A's star.
Okay. And you're so passionate. Do you do this virtually? Can they do classes virtually with you, or does it have to be face to face?
No, actually, we've moved from in-person to virtual because we want to be able to reach, those that need to be reached. And so even if you're in California, actually I have a client in California, we want to be able to reach those who are in California or even maybe in another country. We want to be able to offer them the opportunity to lead the life they've always wanted, which is a healthier lifestyle, to reach their optimum and peak health.
Yes. That is so amazing, y'all. I mean, your passion. I took her class, and when I say she had me going, and I was one of those that wasn't consistent. I wasn't motivated, and I didn't last. But I did appreciate all that she was teaching me to do. Because she's so very passionate. She's very good at what she does. She's very organized, and she will definitely get you where you want to be. So, like she said, it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can do virtual classes with Astar, and she will definitely have a program set for you. Absolutely. So we totally appreciate you, y'all, so very much. And she is on Instagram as Astar, Facebook Astar, and like she said, her website www.yaaastar.com.
Absolutely. And I just want to, just before we leave, just real quick, and one piece of advice and suggestion I want to give everyone is, if you lack motivation, consistency, or accountability, ask yourself why it's important for you to get healthy now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you, and then you like mental health and physical health. So whoever calls you gonna get a whole
yes, they're gonna get. So what we do is I have a three pillar system where we look at behavior change, we do nutrition and supplement, and activity and physical activity. So and so that's our 3 pillar transformational system.
That's amazing. And she will definitely, like I said, is adorable. You can go on her website. That she has an assessment that you can take that personalizes. It's personalized just for you. So please check her out. Virtual exercise is in, home exercise is okay. You don't have to go pay a gym when you can have somebody that's going to give you exactly that one-on-one attention that you need. But I just want to say thank you, y'all, for gracing us on this show. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
And we will see
next time you come over to the show, we want to make sure you come in at a time where you know, it's more fitting. But this is a good time because springtime, people need to start getting fit. People should probably start doing that. Yeah, so we're gonna have to figure out a good time.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, absolutely. You just let me know when, and we, you know, whatever you guys want to do, we can do something special, like maybe even if it's a 5-minute or a 10-minute activity. We have people watch whatever, you know, kind of stream and just, you know, do the activity with us.
Well, bye everybody. We love you. See you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you so much.